Hey everyone, Plot of Peak, just continuing on here with the Pyramid of Power review of from the Silver Shield, and 3 ounces here. We have the proof, full proof from this year, 2020, and just kind of to go over the image. As you can see, this is a mock-up of Ronald McDonald. Looks like with a Big Mac and the We Fatten You, number 3. Version of the Pyramid of Power, and the depiction is the same on all three. This is just the proof finish from 2020, and the original reverse proof finish from 2015, and then the BU or Brilliant Uncirculated version from 2016, and also to got the dollar bill symbol on the badge there. Kind of showing that I guess money over health with where this is coming from. And as you can see here from the certificate of authenticity, this is from the original 2015 proof. There's only 315 of these, so kind of going up a little bit. There were 260 of the first We Indoctrinate You, the We Condemn You. I think there was up to 302, and then 315. So you can kind of see this was getting more popular and popular in 2015, little by little, as it went along. And again, there was only 215 released to the general public. So really, that should be subtracted by 100 when it comes to how many of these are in circulation. There is a certificate of authenticity for this one, and I want to say it was around the 800 range. I didn't fish that one out because I kind of have them stored somewhere, so it's kind of a pain for me to find. But that's in relation to the reverse proof of the original. So when it comes to this one, currently I am 5'10". I presently weigh between 155 and 160 pounds. Been in that range pretty much since 2014. Back in 2006, I went to give blood, which is what I kind of did on a regular basis at that time, and walked into the Red Cross location, and they took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was about I think it was 140 over 115, and at the time I weighed approximately 220 pounds, so quite a bit heavier than I am today, and they would not allow me to give blood there, and basically told me I needed to go to the doctor. Went to the doctor, didn't tell him the complete truth about my lifestyle, but couldn't really lie about it too much, and he said, I'm going to put you on blood pressure medication, but you need to alter your situation here, otherwise you're probably going to be on these pills the rest of your life, and oh, by the way, all pills are bad. The only doctor that's ever said those words to me, and I believe him, and my own research has confirmed that, but he flat out said all pills are bad. Some of them, the benefits outweigh the harm that they do, but they all cause harm. Like any pill you put in your body, that's not food or not that's an actual drug, is going to have some side effects, and those side effects are eventually going to catch up with the people that are taking them. So I went to a company, and they kind of put me on a diet, and I followed that diet, and about 6 months later I was down to about 170, 75. This was in 2006, like I said. So the following year I got married, actually, the following year, and then kind of let myself go a little bit and got back up to about 185, 190, and I was like, I'm never going back to where I was, and kind of got in a different kind of system in 2014, started exercising more, and then since that time I've pretty much maintained my weight under 160. But the point of this is around 2005, which is 2004, 2005, and I was heavy for a lot of reasons. I was a practicing active alcoholic, which didn't help things as far as the weight goes. But I also didn't eat very well, and around that time is when the places like McDonald's and Wendy's, I think McDonald's was the first one to do it, but they came out with this thing called the dollar menu. And in 2005, I did not have a lot of money. I was basically, going to school full time. I was in my, mid to late 20s, and I had a decent job, but was essentially making, 17, 18, $19 an hour, which wasn't bad at the time, but I didn't have a lot of money to save, right? I was, paying my rent, paying my internet bills, paying, for my tuition, which, my GI Bill didn't cover, and, had a lot of expenses. Um, and so I kind of mitigated that by going to this dollar menu thing. And you could, get a hamburger, french fries, and a Coke, or a pop is how they call it where I'm from, for like $3 or $4. And you could do that for breakfast. You could, do that for lunch and dinner. And, you could eat 3 meals for like $15. And that's essentially what I did. And I the pounds just piled on, and I wasn't doing other things as well. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't exercising at all, and just kind of trudging along. And my health essentially deteriorated to the point where the Red Cross wouldn't let me give blood. Now that a lot of that is on me. Those were my choices, and I'm not blaming McDonald's or society or the government for my choices. Those were my choices. However, I will say that corporations like McDonald's and the government in whole make it, they don't really discourage people from this, right? Even today, I'll see Arby's commercials, and you can get an Arby's sandwich for $2, and the dollar menu is still a thing, and you can get a whole Domino's pizza for like less than $10, and things like that. And if and what this does is it caters to people that don't have a lot of money. And it basically is, it's steering those people to make those types of choices. It makes those choices easier. Now it doesn't absolve them; they're still making those choices. But you don't see people, you don't see health insurance going down because you eat a certain amount of food, or your blood panels come back at a certain level for cholesterol, or for things like that. You don't see any of that. Even with this coronavirus thing going on, a lot of people that were dying, that did die and still are dying from the coronavirus, are people that were largely very unhealthy. I remember like when they first started pushing like, oh, it affects young people too, and they would post these pictures of all these people that were under 35 or 30 years old that were dying from the coronavirus. I want to say like 8 out of 10 of them had like 3 or 4 chins. They were not healthy people. And I used to be one of those people with 3 or 4 chins, so I understand that. And when you are not a healthy person, things like your immune system doesn't work as well. You are usually deficient in things like vitamin D, and your B vitamins, which really help not just help your immune system, but ward off inflammation. And it's a lot of the people that are dying from coronavirus. They are dying due to the inflammation. From what their immune system has to do to kill the virus. Like when the immune system goes in and the virus is ongoing for a while, it basically carpet bombs, your lung tissue, because that's where the COVID-19 attacks. And a lot of these people are on ventilators, not because of the virus, but because their immune system is, resorted to what's called a cytokine storm, and completely, it's almost like an autoimmune condition. It just damages. It throws out the baby with the bathwater, essentially. And that's a result of not maintaining a healthy lifestyle and having proper nutrition and having the proper vitamin levels. And but we don't see that we don't hear that from the government, or we don't hear that in the media. Even though that is the case, and there's many doctors that are out there advocating that, saying, yeah, eat more vegetables, exercise more, get yourself ready to have the coronavirus, and just give yourself the better, the best opportunity to ward it off. Now, even said that 98 to 99% of people that get it, it doesn't matter how old you are, even if you're above 70, I think your chances are still like 94% of survival. So most people do survive the coronavirus. But when you consider that, 40% of the American population is overweight, classified as overweight, when 30% are classified as obese, that's a good percentage of the population that is at risk. And I don't, and I know like Michelle Obama had her, We need to eat more whole grains and things like that. And that, may or may not, be, a good idea depending on, just how you view things. But it's certainly better than going to McDonald's, you know. Um, with what I have a problem with, with the Michelle Obamas of the world and mandating people eat, whole grains. I don't agree with that. I mean, I think we all, if we all does we all have free will. We can all put whatever we want in our bodies. I'm not saying that people are bad people if they decide to, make themselves fat through their diet. But what I am saying is that there are consequences if you do that. And I am of the mind that you should be left to face those consequences, if that's what your actions have brought on. So I'm not advocating for everybody has to eat like vegetables every single day of their life, or everybody has to just drink water and not drink Coke or pop or Pepsi or soda or whatever the hell you call it. I love ice cream, and I still eat ice cream a few times a week, but on the days I eat ice cream, I run between 5 and 7 miles, and so that kind of balances that out. So we can make choices that do things like that. But what the corporations like McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's and Domino's, and they make it very easy to consume their products, and it's because their products they're cheap, and they're cheap for a reason. A lot of times they're not real. Number one, they're not real food. There's a lot of chemicals. There's a lot of things that preserve the shelf life and allow them to make more money through that. And so yeah, they get a cheaper set of products or set of ingredients, and then that just passes those savings quote unquote onto the consumer, and so you have more and more people. It's really a shame that not everybody can afford to shop at stores like Whole Foods or Sprouts or some of these farmers markets or grocers that are in these various areas. That's pretty much the only place I shop is this grocery store called Sprouts, which are in some of the states, not all of them. But where I'm from in Michigan, there's no Sprouts. You have to hunt. Where I grew up in Michigan, just south of Detroit, you have to like scour the area to find like a somewhat healthy grocery store. I can think of like in an area the size of Detroit, which is I want to say between 4 and 5 million people in the whole Detroit metro area, there might be 4 Whole Foods, and there might be maybe 15 grocery stores that I would consider, promoting a healthy lifestyle type of a grocery store. And then when you go there, you're going to pay a lot more than you are going to be at like Kroger or some of those types of stores, and it's really too bad. So I understand people that are on a limited budget. I understand why they don't. But you don't see any incentives. You don't see any tax incentives. You don't see any health incentives. For these places. I mean, that's like these types of stores that they can show that they're offering this types of product, because those tax incentives are going to come back probably 5 or 10-fold if those people aren't having to go to the doctor every other day because they're sick, because their immune system can't ward off anything, be it COVID or anything else. When you have a healthy body, things like cancer, things like diabetes, go dramatically down. And especially diabetes, where you have all kinds of health complications that come along with that. And the level of type 2 diabetes is, it's going up and up every year. A lot of it because, these corporations just, fatten everybody. And when they fatten everybody at the same time, they are pulling in the profits, hand over fist. And, that's fine, as far as capitalism goes, if that's what's in demand. But, we don't, everything that's there's a lot of things that aren't healthy that the government dissuades heavily. There's sin taxes on alcohol, there's sin taxes on cigarette smoking, there's sin taxes on marijuana. I dare them to put a sin tax on McDonald's and watch what happens. I mean, the corporations, all that corporate money that's going into the political action committee donations, into these candidates that are that are promoting these types of products, those would disappear overnight, right? And that used to be the way it was, for big tobacco. That was a big deal. You didn't want to come out against tobacco because then the big tobacco lobby would pull its money. Well, now big tobacco is like nobody. That's like a scarlet letter, right? And how did it become a scarlet letter? because enough people stood up and was like, hey, we're not doing this anymore. This isn't good for people. People are dying, for their choices. And yeah, they're their choices, but we're making these choices very easily. We're targeting these ad campaigns towards children. Nobody cares if you're targeting ad campaigns like this towards, poor people or people that are on unlimited budgets. It's the same concept. So, as a society, we need to kind of like have a heart to heart with ourselves, and just kind of understand that we are making poor choices, and we're letting people that are encouraging those poor choices kind of get away with a lot of stuff. So I'm really glad that Chris Dwight included this within this pyramid of power, because the more the more unhealthy we are, the more dependent we are on healthcare. And if the government takes over healthcare, then vicariously we're more dependent on the government, which is exactly what the government wants. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican these days, you want people to need you, because at the end of the day, you just want to stay in your own. You just want to keep your House seat. You want to keep your Senate seat. You want to stay in the presidency, whatever it is. And that's just kind of where we're at. But let me know if you guys have I don't know, any stories that are similar to mine, or know somebody. I'm sure we do. I mean, if 40% of the people are overweight, I guarantee we all know somebody that could probably lose some pounds for their own good. But like I said, if you're happy, there's a lot of people that are overweight and know it, and they're happy with that. There was an episode of House where this guy was like 500 or 600 pounds, and he just liked to eat, and he was like, I'm fine with it. I'm okay. If I die a few years early, that's fine. People die during marathons all the time, and stuff like that, which is true. So if you're at it, if you're that case, and I'm not coming down on you, but as long as you're good with the consequences, that's your choice. I personally, I wasn't okay with the consequences, and once I kind of saw the those consequences coming home to roost, I made some changes, and hopefully I can stick with that. So again, love the design on these. Love the fact that I was able to have all three. There are a few pieces here where I don't have all three. Still trying to hunt those down, and when I get to those in this series of videos here, I'll definitely point that out. But hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, let me know in the comments your thoughts, and I appreciate those. And I will talk to everybody later. Take care. Bye-bye.